I am back. Under the sun. Oh, holding up the great holy light. Ah. I always try to turn that light off whenever I film because you could see like the light beams. Like I'd literally have to like, I don't know, put something up here to like block it out. Yeah. Anyway, greetings everyone. Today we're going to be looking at chapter 1114. It's the chapter that comes after 1113, but the one that comes before 1115. If I know I'm going out on a limb here, okay? This is a big theory. Probably not going to be true. Maybe like a 2% chance this is going to be true. But I'm going to try to predict the rest of One Piece here, okay? I'm going to say the next chapter is going to be chapter 1115. And then Oda's going to follow that up with 1116. Now I know, I'm pretty sure with those, I mean, maybe that's ridiculous in its own right, but I'm thinking 1117 is going to follow that. But then Oda's going to throw us a little bit of a knuckleball after that. You're going to assume it's 1119, but he's actually going to go with 1118. I am locking that in right now. That is what this is going to have. That is the story that he has planned for us. I don't know. I mean, I'm prepared to be wrong on that. Yeah. How can you be so smirked? SMRT. I mean SMART. Oh, man. He's going to go back to chapter 3. That's when the thing's really going to flip us around. Yeah. Yeah. That, you know what? Oh, dude. You know what a manga could really do? I really just thought of this. Okay. You could start a manga at chapter 2. And then it just goes chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it just keeps going and going and going all the way up to like chapter 742, right? And it keeps going. And then at the end of the manga, the last chapter should be chapter 1. So it's like you go all the way up to like chapter 1406, and then it just loops around to the final chapter, which is chapter 1, and it's a perfectly cyclical story. There you go. Now that's clever. That's clever. Yeah. What are some manga I'm enjoying right now beside One Piece? I just got caught up again on Yomi no Tsugai, which is Arakawa's. Yeah, Hiromu Arakawa's new series that she started like 2-3 years ago. And so she's the mangaka of Full Metal Alchemist, obviously. She came out with one in between that was like one about like knights and stuff. I remember that one, like Arthurian lore kind of thing, and I haven't read much of that. But then she came out with Yomi no Tsugai, or Demons of the Shadow Realm, and I read it last year, and I made a video on it actually because it was a really good series. It's a really good premise. Then I got kind of out of the loop for a while, and so last weekend I just basically took a day because I was like really tired and my voice was kind of shot. So I literally just spent all day just rereading the entire series just to kind of remember everything where it was at. Let's see. So Attack on Titan. I mean, Attack on Titan, I'm not going to spoil Attack on Titan, but Attack on Titan did not end the way I assumed it was going to end one way, and it's not how it ended. I think it might have worked better if it ended the other way, but I'm not going to get into that. I've read Monster, yeah. I have not read Alice in Borderlands. Have I read JJK? You know, just for lulz, I read the most recent chapter, and I didn't understand any of it. Because it's like chapter... Like, what chapter are we up to on JJK? It's like chapter... Let me check really quick. It was chapter 259. Yeah, I don't understand a single thing what was going on. But I did read it. I'll do that occasionally. I'll pick out a manga. Like, I have no idea what's going on with that series. I have no idea what's going on with Kingdom right now, but I'll read this chapter. I read Undead Unluck, yes, but I've been reading that one for a while. There's really no big new ones that I've been reading as of late. I can't really point to anything like this is a brand new series I just picked up or anything like that. So I need to broaden my horizons a bit. Yeah. All right. So let's try to get right into it though. That was about 5 minutes of banter. We could dive into it here. Am I still reading Akane no Banashi? Yeah, I'm like everything I've told you that I'm reading, I'm still reading. I can't think of anything I suggested like a year or so ago that I'm not still currently reading or I dropped it. It's really hard for me to get into new manga, but when I usually do, I'm going to at least like stay consistent as much as possible. As I just said, I lost track of Yomi no Sugai, so that's not true. But I don't know. What do you think about Cross Guild taking over Impel Down as their base of operations? I've been having this theory in my head for a while. I think Impel Down, like the actual story of like how that structure was created, that's going to be revealed at some point, because now that the world is like sinking, it's like, okay, well, this is a giant tower that was literally built on the ocean floor. Now, I always assumed it was built with just like fishmen and merfolk slavery, like the government basically forced them to build a prison that they would probably be later imprisoned in, right? But now with this new information we got from Vegapunk, it's very likely that maybe this is a structure that existed during the Void Century. I'm actually thinking a lot of Tower of Babel for some reason, because I mean the idea of the story of the Tower of Babel is humanity unites to build this really big tower to try to reach heaven or like invade heaven, and then God looks down and he's like, oh, humans are trying to like build a tower to like enter and challenge my domain. I'm going to divide them up by language. I'm going to create the difference of language. So that's like the ancient people's explanation on why does this tribe that lives all the way over here speak completely differently than we do, and how come these people over here speak a different language than we do? Well, that's the explanation. God kind of like created the idea of language. God is an Uma that created Uma language. There you go. So I don't know why I keep going back to Tower of Babel with it, because if you do look at Impel Down as just not an undersea prison, but if there was no water, it's like a tower that's ascending. I mean, maybe it had something to do with that. I don't know. It also has very like stepped pyramid type deal. Like it looks like that. But I think we're going to find out more about the history of it and how it was created. And as for the Cross Guild invading it, I mean, Dofi needs to get out at some point. So does Bon Clay for that reason. I mean, there's a lot of people in Impel Down, not as many as there used to be ever since the breakout, but Doflamingo's in there, his crew is in there, and Bon Clay is in there, and we know those characters for certain. Magellan is also there too, and I don't know if Magellan would lead the prison as well. I mean, like, if the prison was completely destroyed or taken over, and Magellan had nowhere else to be, then I guess he would go wherever. Maybe there's some world where it's like Magellan and Doflamingo, like Magellan goes with them or something. Just like, I'll go with you, Doflamingo. I'm not letting you out of my sights. I don't know. But I just really like Magellan as a character and his powers and stuff. So I would really like for him to be involved in this. But I don't really see any. The only way I could see it happening is if Impel Down was completely and utterly obliterated. The structure itself collapsed and there was no prison anymore. So there's no reason for him to be the vice warden because there's no prison anymore. So then he would leave to be like, well, I guess I'm going to go and, just make sure Doflamingo doesn't get into any, I don't know, like fulfill my last order I was given or something. I'm sure you've made this observation before, but my brain hit me with this pun that's too good not to be intentional, and I'm hitting everyone with it. Doc Q is a doctor with a fruit that creates plagues, a plague doctor. Yeah, I mean, like, the idea is that he's a sickly physician. You could look at him as a plague doctor, although it's not as super obvious as you would imagine. I mean, if he was wearing the plague doctor, like, the mask, then that would be like right there, like, throw the dart right on a bullseye. But, yeah, I mean, he is a plague doctor, so, yeah. But it would be cool if he did have the mask. Maybe next time we see him, he'll have a cool Plague Doctor mask. Thank you for the $20, Anime Fan 3794. Wow, that's a pretty low number for all the anime fans in the world. This is the 3,794th Anime Fan. I would imagine there's millions of them right now, so that's a pretty low number. Yeah, he's dressed like an Undertaker. He does use a scythe as his main weapon. And a scythe is like the Grim Reaper's scythe, like harvesting. I think he used a scythe against Whitebeard. Most of the Blackbeard pirates used like guns to just shoot him. Avala Pizarro used his like gauntlets, like his arm gauntlets to like shoot him or something. But I think Doc Q was using like a scythe. Or if you want to get people angry, pronounce it as scythe, which I think actually sounds cool. I swing my scythe, What does the Q stand for? Maybe we'll find it out. Maybe he's the will of Q. And maybe V Nus Juro is the will of V. Yeah, he's the will of the void. I want to see Crocodile as a lawyer in a crime drama. Yeah, like in Criminal Minds or something, or some kind of like courtroom case drama kind of thing. Yeah, I could see that. Send it to Oda. Get his address and send. Well, not the address of Oda, like his private address, but send it to like Shueisha. He takes fan requests. There's got to be a way to send. There's got to be an address to send for all those fan requests. He gets a lot of them. Stands for Quack. Dude, what if Doc Q and Hiraluk like knew each other? Hiraluk was okay. Well, Doc Q is actually not that old. I know he looks like a sickly old man, but Doc Q is actually like 28, 29 years old. He's younger than I am. Yeah. So. Skyfs are stronger than skeeves. It's just, yeah. They could be related. I don't know. Let's see here. Well, I know Oda's home address is his studio. I'm sure most of the letters he gets for SBS, that's all forwarded through Shueisha. But as for like his living space, it is part of his house. Like his house, because there's been interviews and stuff in Oda's house, and he has a house where like his wife and his like kids live, and then he has a separate area for a studio. Which, I mean, you basically have to do that. I mean, I'm sure Oda is not short on money, but that's a smart move to do that, because otherwise he probably just wouldn't see his family if he had to go drive into work at a studio every single day with his work schedule. So just turning your home into your office is probably just the most pragmatic thing to do when you have a family, right? Here, look here. Here, look. The 3794 is because March 7th, 94, old username, never had taken it before. Also something to note, Doc Q's design is based off depictions of the Reaper that started during the Black Plague. Yeah, I mean, like, the idea of death being personified as, like, the Grim Reaper in general, a lot of that stuff started with the Black Plague, outbreaks of cholera. You could see old depictions of, like, a giant, maybe not even without the cloak, but, like, a giant skeleton just lording over London. Just be like, yes, all to death we flock to thee, or something like that. I mean, this goes before the Black Plague. I mean, the idea of skeletons being reminiscent or symbolic of death, I mean, it's pretty obvious why. You die and you decompose, and that whole process would have seemed like mystical to like most humans if you don't understand human biology. It's like, holy shit, can you imagine how horrifying that is? Like somebody, like a loved one dies, and then you don't know anything about human biology, and you just slowly watch skin and muscle just slosh off of them after a while, and then you just see bone left underneath. I mean, that would be terrifying. So it makes sense why that became like the image of the Grim Reaper. Why didn't Dragon go to save Vegapunk? You'd think he'd consider the smartest person in the world to be an invaluable asset in the war. Do you think this will be addressed? I think this is going to be addressed. Like a lot of things being brought up in general of like, why didn't Dragon go save Ginny? Why didn't Dragon go save Vegapunk? Why didn't Dragon do this? Why didn't Dragon do that? I've said this before a lot, but I'll just say it again here, and it might not be a good idea on Dragon's part, but Dragon is someone that is very pragmatic, and he has a strict plan. And he's like, if we follow this plan to the letter, we can bring down the Tenryubito. But only if we follow this plan to the letter. We cannot deviate from this. People will die, friends will die, but we still have to stick to the plan. That is paramount. We deviate from the plan, and we start losing our generals, or if I die, the revolution's fucked. So it's like, let's go save Vegapunk. All right, let's round up the revolutionaries and the generals and the vice generals, and let's go to Egghead. Maybe they would succeed, or maybe, oh shit, Morley's dead. Oh shit, Karasu's dead. Oh shit, Dragon lost an arm and a leg. That's gonna put a hamper on the fucking revolution. So we need to follow it to the letter. And you might say that's a bad idea. It's like, well, you're still letting all your friends die. That's not a good idea. You should be able to help. And it's just like, Dragon's like, don't care. I mean, I do care, but the plan is number one. All my friends' lives are number two. I'm like, that's how it is. That's how the kind of guy Dragon is, you know? You could say that's not a good plan, or he should care more about it. I agree, but that's, I think, the kind of guy Dragon is. Yeah, he's the leader of an army, not a pirate captain. That's true. He has a specific goal in mind. His goal is not just to sail the seas and have adventure and beat up the Marines occasionally. He has a very strict plan trying to take down the government that is, or the Tenryubito, that have ruled for 900 years. And part of that is not getting distracted by personal bonds. The government and when they kidnapped Ginny, the Tenryubito were probably expecting that Dragon would send a force to rescue her, and like, oh, they send a force, and that's when we kill him. Dragon's like, they're expecting us to do that. Sorry, it sucks. Ginny died. I'm not happy about that, but I'm not messing up the plan because Ginny got captured. It's cold, it's callous, it's a brutal way to look at the world, but Dragon might have seen some shit in his time where he's like, you know what? That's just what I'm going to have to do. If I want to liberate the world, if I want to truly end the Tenryubito system, if I want to end slavery, I'm going to have to just be this cold, callous motherfucker. That's just how this is going to have to go. And he's not 100%. He is a little biased because he does care about Luffy because he went to go save Luffy at Logtown. Dragon is actually a very complex human being when you really think about it. He does probably care more about his own son than he did about Ginny. That's like, well, that's messed up. He's like, yeah, it is. He's a complicated, he's a human. He's not a robot. He's trying to be, kind of. He's probably trying to, like, put his own personal concerns and bias aside for the cause. And for the most part, he can succeed at that. But every now and then, he's like, nah, I don't want my son to die. I'm gonna go risk some stuff and go save him. Well, what about Ginny? I was like, yep. It has to be that way. Dragon, by the way, I'm letting you know right now, Dragon is probably fully prepared to die to end the Tenryubito system. In Dragon's mind, if all of the revolutionaries have to die to end the Tenryubito system and end slavery and liberate the world, he would make that trade. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if when you join the revolution, that's the speech he gives you. Now, I agree there should be more of a focus on Dragon in general, like rallying his troops together, talking to people. Like that, I wished was a little bit more fleshed out. And we'll probably get more of that as we go into the final arc. Yeah. I mean, like, if he has to die to end the Tenryubito system, he made that trade a while ago. He came to his piece on that a while back. Yeah. We might see Joy Boy next chapter. A lot of people were suggesting that. We're going to get a flashback. I didn't immediately think that. I did, because, we already have a lot of flashbacks in Egghead. We got the flashback with, we have a lot of flashbacks. We had the first flashback through the cover pages with Mads. Then we got the flashback with Kuma, which led into Ginny, which led into Bonnie. And then we had, didn't we have another one? That oh no, it wasn't a flashback. It was just cutting away to see what was going on with like Kid and Elbaf and Law and Blackbeard and Garp and Hachinosus. That wasn't really a flashback, but that was, we got some flashbacks with Garp, training Aokiji and stuff. So, God, there's a lot in Egghead. There's a lot loaded up in Egghead here. So what do we think the chances are that Eam is purging these islands and making these giant bottomless holes to try and offset the rising sea levels? Well, it's apparently not working very well because it was the destruction of Lelucia that raised the sea level by a meter. It was directly because of that. So that's clearly destroying the islands, whether it be the use of the Mother Flame or that device they use that's powered by the Mother Flame. Whatever method that they're using is increasing the sea level. So, yeah. That's the weird thing. The holes are not lowering the sea level, they're increasing them. That's a big, like, how does that work? And that needs to be explained, yeah. If they blow up the Mother Flame, could that kill the Gorosei? No, the Mother Flame didn't exist. The Mother Flame is not, like, powering the Gorosei. The Gorosei have been around long before the Mother Flame existed. It's so valuable to them, they just don't want to get rid of it, because if they get rid of it, they won't be able to power probably that Uranos laser gun thing. Yes, a lot of people mention that. The A and Mu is, if you read and, it's a pun, like a lot. I assumed it was probably a pun, but it's, and in Japanese is to. So, atomu, atom. Yeehaw, y'all. It's atom. It just means atom. That's probably what it was. So I figured it was some kind of pun. I just didn't immediately think, like, because it's an ampersand, which means and. I didn't immediately assume, like, oh, and in Japanese meaning to, so atomu. There it is. To met the smartest person in the world die. Well, he's not dead. That's the other thing, too. Vegapunk is not dead. The brain still lives. Edison is still alive. Lilith is still alive. Atlas is still alive, for now. And York is still alive. So that's 4 Vegapunks and a brain that are still alive that know everything he did. Or at least have the capacity, have the same amount of brain power that he did. So he could even make himself a new Stella body, probably. They could make a new Shaka. I don't see why Vegapunk wouldn't be able to make a new Shaka. the brain would, or the like Lilith manufactures a new version of Shaka or something. I don't see why that wouldn't be able to be possible. Kid is still alive. I made a whole video about that this week, so go check that out. Thank you, Bubbles, for being the member. I just don't want Dragon to fail his wars so Luffy can take over and do better when they do face the world government. Like Dragon failing and Luffy has to be the one to pick up the slack. I'm pretty damn sure that when it comes to the dismantling of the Tenryubito system, that's going to be Dragon's revolution. I don't want Luffy to really... I really don't want Luffy and the Straw Hats to be involved in that because that's a build-up to Dragon's thing. I don't want it to be a thing where it's like Dragon has his revolution and he goes in there, but he's defeated and Luffy and the Straw Hats have to pick up the slack and finish the revolution. I mean, I would rather Dragon's revolution mean something and he actually did it on his own. It doesn't have to, not everything has to involve the Straw Hats. I'm okay with that considering the vast assortment of character building in the story that Oda has done. Dad ranking Naruto or Aang? Personally, it's Naruto. Who's a better dad? To be honest with you, I haven't read a lot of Boruto, and there's probably a little bit more lore, like expanded universe stuff on how good of a dad Aang was to Tenzin and Bumi and Kaya. I haven't read a lot of that though. I've just seen the core Korra series. My immediate first reaction is they're both really good dads. It's just they have really important things to do, and they're not super attentive toward their children. Considering Aang is basically a demigod and Naruto is just a ninja president, I'm going to probably say Naruto is probably slightly more attentive than Aang was. So it could be more than just a stupid pun. Hey, don't call it a stupid pun. Oda really loves his puns. The 108 is definitely something that pops up in One Piece a lot because it has something to do with Buddhism and Hinduist teachings. So it shows up in Zoro's techniques. Aruge's bounty, at least his first bounty, it's probably gone up since then. But Aruge's original bounty was 108 million, which is he's the fallen monk. He ties in heavily to Buddhism. So the 108 is probably more relevant. But Oda loves his puns, and he loves making puns relevant. I thought all the bodies were caught in the attack. What do you mean? All the Vegapunk bodies? Some of the Vegapunks are definitely still alive. All the Vegapunks are still, some of them are dead, but not all of them are dead. You see the overlap of Eneru cover page and the Metal Flame. Yes, I did look that up. That's the great thing I love about One Piece fans is that I'll upload a chapter review and then almost immediately somebody will comment like chapter 472, page 2, it's right there. And I'm like, holy shit, okay. Because there's no way I could keep track of like over 1,100 damn chapters in every single panel and everything that's in the background. But sure enough, yeah, hold on, let me pull that up. It's in the cover series with Eneru. I was actually talking to my friend Pimmer last night about this because he heard about this too, and we were discussing that. It's like, damn it, Oda, I'll tell you what, Oda. Yeah, it's right here. Top left corner, right here at the very top, you see it. It's either the Mother Flame or it's a piece of poop that's stuck inside of the sun. Considering it's Oda, I could see either way. There. So, a couple of things about this. This was a depiction in the moon city of Bierka where the original not Lunarians, although Lunarians, I'm trying to figure out where the Lunarians piece into this because my friend actually brought up, like, oh, they're the Lunarians. And I'm like, well, the way that this was originally interpreted was they were the Bierkans, the Shandorians, and the Skypians. And you can tell that based off their wings. The one on the right that has the two antennae coming out, the antenna hairstyle, that style is very much like the Skypians, like Conus and Pagaya. Then to the left is clearly an ancestor of the Shandorians. They both have wings that are facing up. And then you see a Bierkan on the left, because the Bierkans have wings that are pointed downward. And Eneru was originally born in Bierka. So was Hardidus, actually, one of the Weatherian scientists. He was also born in Bierka. Eneru destroyed Bierka when he ascended to his godhood and got the Goro Goro no Mi, and he destroyed his homeland. But that was only like 6 or 8 years ago from the beginning of the story he did that. Aruge is most likely from Bierka because he also has wings like that. But it also brings, why are they crying? Because they're leaving the moon. Because they lived on the moon originally. That was the city that Eneru found. And the moon ran out of resources, so they had to depart on, they have the balloon, so they're descending to the blue sea, leaving the moon behind. The moon might be a representation of what will happen to the Earth if it's farmed out of resources. Like, the moon might have been very prosperous and then ran out of resources. They couldn't power their technologically advanced cities, so they had to descend to the blue sea world. Now, this brings up a lot of questions like, how do the Lunarians factor into this? Because the Lunarians have wings that face down like Bjerkins, but they are black wings, and they're not depicted here. At least they don't have black wings in this mural. If they did, that would also be very like indicative of like, oh, Lunarians. But also they're like, I immediately thought, well, maybe these people went down and they created the ancient kingdom. They had a technologically advanced city on the moon, so they got down to the blue sea and they created a technologically advanced city on the blue sea. Because Skypians and Bjerkins settled in the sky, Shandorians made it to the blue sea, but who's to say that all of them made it to the sky? There could have been Bjerkins and Skypians that reached what would become the ancient kingdom, and they built it, and then they got destroyed. Because we don't know what the ancient kingdom people looked like. We don't know if they had wings or not. Yeah, got a lot of super chats there in a second, so I'm going to go through those. Here we got a bunch in succession. Let's see here. Let's see. We got Sabo flashback, Reverie, Kuma, Sentomaru. So yeah, we got like the Kuma Bonnie flashback was the one that was the longest. Sabo's flashback was like 2 chapters, or maybe actually even a chapter. It wasn't. Yeah, I think it was no, because that was the one with Cobra. So that was like 2 to 3 chapters with that. So it wasn't super long, but we did get that. Sentomaru's was pretty brief as well. Obviously, it's a atomu, but my first thought was a is a prefix meaning mu, and also without void. That could be a case as well. I think Oda layers a lot of things that are like on the surface. They might just be puns, but then they connect back to something else. There's also something involving kanji, involving kaizoku, I want to get to in a moment. I'm actually going to cover that right after these super chats so I don't forget. Which series fills you with more childlike wonder, One Piece or Hunter x Hunter? Have a great day, Teching. Love the content. Definitely One Piece. Dark stuff happens in both of those. Well, Hunter x Hunter gives me different child vibes because like the scene with like Killua and Gon playing on the PlayStation in Gon's room, that gives me like nostalgia for my own childhood playing with my friend Ian in my bedroom with the old PlayStation 1, like the old big blocky PlayStation. Like, so that's different kinds of nostalgia than One Piece does, which One Piece is more about like going out there and like having adventures and playing with your friends and things like that. So it's a little bit different because Hunter x Hunter takes place in a more contemporary world. Like, they have the internet and shit in Hunter x Hunter. They have YouTube and Wikipedia and stuff in Hunter x Hunter. They have smartphones. So yeah. But it's both in different ways. You've inspired me to stream chapter reactions for manga. I did my first one on Twitch yesterday with my buddy. I didn't save it, unfortunately. Hey, man. Good luck to you on your adventure, Cole. Everybody, I was just thinking about, starting my own stuff like a while ago. Like, I remember way back when I was 16 starting my Bleach reviews. So good luck to you on your journey. Do you think current Blackbeard could defeat Kaido? Oh God, that would be a fun fight to watch. That would be a wild fight to watch for sure. Maybe he could, because there's probably the thing about Blackbeard is there's so many X factors involving him. We don't know all the shit he can do. So it would be a thing where probably like from what we've seen so far, I have a feeling Kaido would beat down Blackbeard, but then Blackbeard would get back up and use some like you've defeated only one of my personalities. Now I'm another guy now. And Kaido would be like, what? Like it would be some bullshit like that. It was like, you've defeated one of me. Now I have 3 more. And Kaido's like, oh, it might be something like that. Do you think Dragon could be a bad guy? Perhaps he's willing to sacrifice a friend or even a straw and come to blows with Luffy. He's definitely willing to sacrifice people. I mean, that's already obvious. Now, he's willing to sacrifice. Does that mean he's cold? And, well, he definitely has a callous personality, but does that mean he's evil is what I should say? No, he's not evil. It's just he understands that there's no fucking way you're going to be able to take down the Tenryubito without people dying. There's going to be blood. This isn't a bloodless revolution. I mean, he's going to try to minimize it as much as possible, but he knows people are going to die, and he probably tells them that when they join. Like, you joined a revolutionary army, you might die. Like, the chances of you dying just went up exponentially. You're either okay with that and you join, or you're not and you don't. Like, that's kind of how it goes. But at the end of this tunnel, and it's going to be a long, bloody tunnel, but at the end of it, we could liberate the world. We could abolish slavery once and for all. So if you're for that, and if you want to fight with me, and you're okay with putting your life on the line, and the lives of your friends and your family, then let's go. Let's fight. That doesn't mean he's evil. It just means he tells them how it is, and like that's the way it goes. Teching is my cream. Okay, I don't know what that means, but I'll say sure. Ice cream? What's your favorite kind of ice cream? I like Oreo ice cream. Anything with Oreos in it. Does Kid have a W beside Big Mom? He had help. I mean, you can at least attribute like half of a W to Kid. They definitely, both of them working together brought down Big Mom. I don't think them separately would be able to defeat Big Mom. Pistachio. Oreo ice cream is the best. It actually is, yeah. My friend's name is Pimmer. So his name is Patrick, but he has a nickname, and we just call him Pimmer. It's a thing. Do you think the Gorosei immortality works kind of like Basil Hawkins' Devil Fruit? Maybe the Gorosei take damage. It's given to slaves they have. So it's not the exact same thing, because the way it works is if Hawkins gets an arm cut off, he actually doesn't lose an arm. Like the blade, like let's say a blade cuts his hand off, the blade would like slash his hand, and then his hand doesn't actually get cut off. Somebody else's hand gets cut off. That's how it works. In the case with the Gorosei, they are losing limbs. Like you do see them like getting their bodies blown away, and they just reforge through fog, and like this weird like aura around them just kind of like reconstitutes their limbs. So it's definitely not the exact same thing. I don't want their immortality to be anything like anything we've seen before. I don't want it to be like it's a devil fruit. That's why they're immortal. I want it to be something else. I mean, a devil fruit can be involved here. They could have mythical, like they could just say, oh, they ate mythical zones akin to Luffy's mythical zone, like some kind of god zones. Okay, that's fine. But I want something else here to be explained. Let me go through this really quick before I forget. Something involving the word Kaizoku, okay? I'm actually just going to pull up this dictionary website that I use for a lot of stuff. This is a kanji, hiragana, katakana website I use a lot whenever I am doing research for videos. So if I just type in Kaizoku is that, okay, so this is pirate in Japanese. I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware of this. Kaizoku oni ore wa nara. Okay, so it just literally means pirate or sea robber. Here, like sea bandit. This is how it's written in hiragana, and this is how it's written with the kanji, okay? So there's two kanji that make up Kaizoku. This is the kanji that literally just means ocean. So just type that in here, and it's just umi. Okay, so umi, and there's two different readings for it, but yeah, this is literally just, it means ocean, umi, okay? Now, if you look at this other kanji, I'll type that in here, okay? So this could mean a couple of different things. Burglar, rebel, traitor, robber, those kind of things. So I'm looking at it because Vegapunk specifically said Joy Boy was the first pirate. Pirates means the two kanji, sea bandit, sea burglar, sea robber, okay? But what if Oda is playing with the word Kaizoku here? What if originally they weren't referred to as bandits or criminals, but rebels or rivals is another way of looking at it. So what if, like going back with my theory that the ancient kingdom is named after pirates? So, because people have brought up, he's like, well, Kaizoku literally means sea bandit. So why would their name be Sea Bandit? Well, it might mean something else. Back then it might have been Sea Rebels or something, which rebel is not the same thing as a burglar or a criminal. You could just mean rebel as in somebody that rebels against the status quo or something like that, right? It doesn't have as much of a negative connotation as criminal. So Kaizoku here. Okay, so let me look at this kanji again. Okay. So it could be Ada, which could be foe, enemy, rival, resentment, enmity, grudge, harm, injury, thief, robber, burglar. Like rival isn't necessarily negative either. It could be a rival. It could be a rebel, an insurgent, a traitor. You can play with the definition a bit here. you can definitely, like, Oda, if he wanted to, could mess around with, like, the kanji of what Kaizoku means here in this context. Kaizoku Kuni, yeah, like something like that. Like, you know, ocean rival country or something like that. It might mean something like that, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's another one, too. The idea that if you eat a devil fruit, oh, shit, that actually makes more fucking sense. If you eat a devil fruit, you're hated by the sea. So you're, in a sense, becoming a rebel of the sea. What if Joy Boy... We don't know how far devil fruits go back. What if Joy Boy was the first person to eat a devil fruit? If he did, then you could say he is the first pirate, not because he was the first sea bandit, but he was the first sea rebel. He rebelled against the sea because he ate a devil fruit. I didn't even think of that angle. Holy shit. Fuck. Okay. I think we're on to something here now. All right. That makes sense. Holy crap, it does. Hold on, let me check another thing really quick. Because this would help. If I need, like, the Japanese version of One Piece. Like, I need like Artor has them. I need, like, the volumes written in the original Japanese to see how Oda, like, writes certain words, because sometimes Oda only writes things in katakana or the hiragana. He doesn't give kanji for them, and sometimes that's actually very fucking relevant. I usually just message Artor, like, hey man, how is this written in the original Japanese? And he's always very nice, and he gets back to me and stuff, but I hate to bother him about every little thing, you know? Okay, hold on a minute here. Yeah. Let me just double check something. Yeah, no, it's the same kanji. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's the idea. Like, devil fruits might be much older, but we don't know that, actually, because there's not much we know about the One Piece world before the Void Century. We know some things. We know Shandoria, the City of Gold, El Dorado, that existed before the Void Century. We know Alubarna existed before the Void Century. We know the Library of Ohara, not the Library of, that's Artor's website. The Tree of Ohara, the Tree of Knowledge, that existed like 5,000 years ago. That's like the oldest point that's ever been mentioned in One Piece is the Tree of Knowledge. So we know there was stuff before, but we just don't know when devil fruits popped into their history. What rank do you think Mogura and Shiro are? Mogura is okay. So Mogura, like Katakuri's trident, and Shirao. Is that a Monde's sword? Hold on a minute here. I think that's a Monde's sword. The one that has like the fish shaped guard. Yeah, that's a Monde's sword. They're probably pretty good, like, high rank. I would say Shirao is at least Ryo Wazumono. I would probably put Mogura as, if you made Mogura one of the Wazumono, I think that would be okay. There's 21 of these, and we haven't seen very many of them. Yeah, it's a Monde, yeah. Do we know the sound effect the Mother Flame made in the showing in Japanese? I don't know that off the top of my head, no. When the series is over, will you do one final best bakery tier list, please? I think I've done the main bakery stuff. Maybe if some, I mean, I guess there's a couple more characters I didn't use, and there's a few more since then. So maybe, I don't know, but I think we did 3 bakery streams. We bakeried out. Chop slap, not slap chop. Yeah, I already talked about the Adam thing. Yeah. We need Tashigi back sometime. I love them all, and I watch them repeatedly. Dude, so when I was making that video the other day, I was making a video on the Zoro light novel that was announced. And the same person that's writing the Zoro light novel wrote Heroines. And I was grabbing some images from Heroines. And they have some really cool art for each of the different chapters. Like, there's an episode of Reiju, an episode of Robin, an episode of Tashigi. And after it loads here, I'll show it to you. But I really liked the artwork for Tashigi's. Like that's a really cool cover there. I like the jeans. I like her boots. Yeah. The jacket's cool. Like Tashigi's looking fire here in that cover. Yeah. Let's get high, Magellan. Dude, Magellan's like, I'm on the clock. You know what the sad thing is? Magellan, I don't think Magellan is able... Is Magellan able to get drunk? Because alcohol is technically poison. I don't think Magellan can get drunk. I don't think it's possible for him to get drunk. How tall is Tashigi? Damn. She's tall. Actually, I can look that up. That's probably something that's on her stat sheet. Dude, there's little things in One Piece that, like other series do this too. Tashigi is 5'7". Not very tall, but she's taller than I am. Dude, I love about One Piece is just all the little fun facts about each character, like characters' ages, characters' heights, characters' blood types, like their birthdays. We know all that stuff, and it's not really relevant in the story. Like Luffy's birthday is May 5th. That's never going to come up in the story, really. But it's just, it adds more to the world building, and not every series does that, okay? Like, it's just nice, like, just going on the wiki and looking at, like, the stat sheets for each character. They have epithets, and they have, like, hometowns they're from, and they have, all their little biographical information, like they're real people. I love that just those little touches of world building. Even with bust size, yes. Although, to be fair, we don't know that many characters' bust sizes. The only ones that are confirmed are, we know Robin's and Nami's, we know Zoro's, strangely enough, we know Boa's, we know Khalifa's, and I think that's it. I think we just know Nami, Robin, Zoro's, Boa's, and Khalifa's. I don't think we ever found out any of the other ones. Yeah. So many Zoro busts in the future. Yeah. It's believed blood type determines personality. Ooh, I could see that. Zoro, 200 centimeters. Please, Zoro, your chest is getting too big. You need to stop. I wondered what Big Mom's is. I mean, Big Mom unequivocally, authoritatively, has the largest female bust size in the story. Like... no. I guess it would be Girth or one of the giants. It's definitely one of the giants. And you know that when we get to Elbaf, and if we start seeing female giants walking around, someone's going to ask Oda that question. Like, what's Girth's body, bust size or whatever? Like, what's Freya's bust size? Like, and Oda's going to answer it, and it's going to be some absurd number. Yeah. Orz's mom. Orz's mom enters the chat. It's just Orz with lipstick. It's just Orz's body shape just with lipstick and a bow. We're just going to Minnie Mouse this. We're going to Miss Pac-Man this. It's just Orz with lipstick and a bow. Oh, man. Yep. All right. We're getting on the bust size train. We still have stuff about the chapter to discuss. Do you think the Gorosei have special Logias, but they're awakened and provide mythical zone forms, like Luffy's fruit being a zone, but having a paramecia-like ability? The reason it has a paramecia-like ability is because all mythical zones have basically mythical zone proper. I mean, mythical zones give you the ability to turn into animals that are mythical, which in turn gives you a paramecia-like ability. Like Marco can turn into a phoenix. He has a paramecia-like ability to heal people. Okay, Sengoku turns into a Daibutsu, but he has like a paramecia-like ability to create shockwaves, So that's kind of a thing all mythical zones have. So the fact that they are... they don't have to be special Logias, I don't think. It would just the fact that they are mythical zones is enough to explain a lot of their powers. But they might not be actual mythical zones. They might be real yokai. What music do you think every Straw Hat would love in the real world? And if the real world... I think Oda might have answered this already. What music would they play? I feel like this has been answered at some point in an SBS. If not, it probably will be at some point. I don't know. Obviously Brook plays everything. I could see Chopper playing the triangle. I could see Usopp and Sanji playing the guitar. I think Zoro would be on drums. Robin would play like the flute or the clarinet or something. What would Nami play? Vocals. I mean, she'd be on vocals. I could see Nami with vocals. Jinbei would be, what's the most intense instrument you can play? That would be Frankie. Frankie either electric guitar or drums himself. Maybe we can give like Jinbei like a saxophone or something, like, or a tuba or something. Jinbei plays a tuba. I don't know. Would Nami or Robin be a better wife, mother? I feel like they would both be pretty all right as a mom. I mean, pretty excellent. Nami, like, her thing is she likes to, like, she wants to be, like, if her job was in the real world, she'd be, like, early childhood, like, a teacher. So she'd be, like, a preschool teacher or, like, a kindergarten teacher. So I would assume she would maybe be the better mom. I think Robin would be fine, though. Like, yeah. Jinbei would play bass because he's a fish. I get it. Yeah, I would say Robin for a wife, Nami for a mom. Nami would not teach you with anger. Nami is just, she has very little patience for, like, when Luffy decides to grab everybody and throw them off the side of a mountain. She tends to get a little miffed about things like that, all right? Go figure. But she would be very patient as a kindergarten teacher. She would not be like, you know, what's 2 + 2 now, class? 3? No. It's like, she's not going to be doing that. No. Yeah, we've never, like, the fact that Luffy ate a human fruit, and he's a human. So he's not having a hybrid form makes sense. She's not going to steal. You guys are making Nami out to be a horrible person. Like, Nami would be yelling at the kids. She'd be stealing their lunch money. Just like, Jesus. Oh, man, guys, she's not evil. Damn. Oh, man. Eam has the moon fruit and controls the tides. I still really don't want just like, oh, Eam and the Gorosei just have really strong devil fruits and that's the way they're like that. Like, I really want it to be something else. I really want it to be like there's something else going on here beyond the normal power system of One Piece. Yeah, there's so many examples of Nami being nice to kids. Yeah. She would steal lunch money from the staff for the kids. Okay, that I could see better. Like, a kid doesn't have enough money to pay for his lunch, so Nami would, like... I don't think Nami would steal there. I think Nami would just give her own money to help the kid eat. Like, it's a kid that's hungry. Yeah. 16 beams when the Lucia was destroyed. Also, Doflamingo has a technique called 16 holy bullets, so 16 is also something that comes up a lot. Robin is Eam. Mic drop. You nailed it. Wait, this is a better mic. Mic drop. Yeah. The Gorosei are aliens. I would be okay if they were, because aliens have been confirmed to exist in the One Piece story. I would be okay if they were straight up demigods, yeah. Like, this story has gone to the point where it's like 1,000, over 1,100 chapters at this point. If we're getting to the point now where they're dealing with demigods that rule the world, yeah, I think we've built up enough to get to that point. Sure. It's a 26-year-long story that ends with them fighting demigods after they powered up a crazy amount. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, she's a teacher. She wouldn't make a lot of money. They make some money. Teachers are woefully underpaid, though, I will say that. They have a very important job to educate the youth of a particular country, and well, I don't know how teachers are paid in other nations. I guess I shouldn't say that, but at least here, not paid great. If you want to say that Eam controls the tides via the moon, fruit, and tides, then the same can be said about Luffy and the sun tides. That's true. This is starting to sound like Naruto. It's starting to sound like every JRPG ever made ever. And a lot of other works of fiction, all right? Naruto's not the only one that's like, we start out with basic missions and then we end up fighting God at the end of it. That is pretty much every Persona game. That's every JRPG. That's every Final Fantasy game. There's so many books that have that. Like, this is a very common trope, but if executed well, not even trope, it's more of like just a story structure progression. D&D campaigns, you go that way, you know what I mean? You start out at level 1 fighting goblins, now you're level 20 fighting God, you know? Like, there it is. It's starting to sound like Dragon Ball once again. Same act structure, yeah. But that's my point, is that Final Fantasy games do this, Dragon Ball does this, Naruto does this. Does that mean just because they follow the same basic rising act structure, and does that mean those are bad stories? Or like, oh, Naruto is exactly a clone of Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball is a clone of this earlier book or whatever. Like, no. I mean, like, they're all very unique stories that are very enthralling in their own ways. How much ridiculously higher will all the Straw Hats bounty be after this arc? I mean... I mean, like, honestly, at this point, if we could just make Luffy's bounty higher than Roger's, like, I'm okay with that. Because, like, I don't want Luffy to find the One Piece. Like, his bounty is 5.6 billion. It's like, all right, story's over. His bounty's higher than Roger. I'd like to enjoy it a little bit. Not killing God at the end. That's what the plot point. Yep. How much... oh, yeah, I just read that one. Ichigo starts out slaying random monsters, ends with him killing the guy who killed God. Yep. I mean, Bleach is a little different because, like, they're fighting, like they're supernatural beings from the very beginning, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, like, you're basically, I mean, if you want to boil it down to, like, the minutia of everything, it's basically, like, character starts out relatively weak and needs to train and learn new skills and improve themselves and discover about themselves along the way, and then eventually fights progressively stronger and stronger and stronger opponents until they fight a really strong opponent, and that's the final challenge for them. I wonder if anybody's ever wrote a story about that before. I wonder if anybody's ever done a video game with that before. I wonder if anybody's had a movie like that before. I don't know. Probably not. You know? Yeah, solo leveling. Oda's just copying solo leveling, man. Yeah. You became a YouTuber at 16? Yep. It was hard. I had to pass the YouTuber test. You have to be 27 to pass the test normally, but I did it at age 16. That's how awesome I am. It's like, no, I started a YouTube channel when I was 16, yeah. I don't think Yuha technically dies at the end of Bleach. I mean, that's kind of up for debate, yeah. I could see it from both directions on that, because, well, it's revealed in one of the light novels what happens to him. If you want to say that that's death, I could understand that. If you want to say it's technically not death, I could see that too. It's in a spot that's a little bit hazy on what exactly, you know, how you classify living and dead when you're, you know, the Soul King. Yeah, the anime is going to handle... I think in the Act 3, the third part of Bleach, when we're coming up to this next part, this is where most of the changes are going to be. Yeah. Yeah, you got to take the Hunter exam. Yeah, it's like the Hunter exam, except it's the YouTube exam. I mean, the breaks in One Piece, I mean, it's a thing. I mean, Oda took a month break, and then Golden Week is a thing. We'll get back on track eventually. I've been talking about manga for a long time. It's just every now and then there's breaks, yeah. Which Straw Hats are dog people or cat people? I feel like Nami is a cat person. Robin is a cat person. Zoro's a dog person. Sanji is a cat person. Frankie's a dog person. Jinbei is a dog person. Chopper is kind of both because he can talk to both of them, but I think he would prefer cats. Yeah. Well, I don't know, because Chopper can talk to animals. I feel like cats more than often would be bigger assholes than dogs if you could talk to them. I feel like most dogs would be like, "Oh boy, how you doing? I want to just play. That's awesome. You're my best friend." And cats would be like, "Get the fuck away from me. I don't want to deal with your bullshit today. Get the fuck out of here." You know, like that would be a cat. You know, so I feel like Jinbei would be like, I feel like Chopper would be like, "Dogs are friendly. Cats are assholes sometimes." You know, like that would be how that would go. He does save a sea cat. That's correct. Cats are tsunderes. You don't know any chihuahuas attacking. Well, yeah, obviously there's different kinds of dogs. The temperament of a German Shepherd is not the same as a boxer, which is not the same as a chihuahua. All right? Different dogs. Brooke is a cat person. I can see Brooke with cats. Definitely. Oh, yeah, Brooke is definitely a cat person because we saw what happened with dogs at Zoe. Let's do some super chats. Answered that one, answered that one, answered that one, answered that one. I think I'm all caught up. Yeah, I think I'm caught up with these. Where is Smoker and Egghead? He's not there. He's off doing something else. He wasn't with Tashigi when they went to Hachinosu, which means Tashigi and Smoker split up for something. He's out there doing something. You know what's really funny is a lot of people saw Paulie in the last chapter, and they kept thinking it was Smoker. I saw a lot of people confusing Paulie for Smoker. But no, it was Paulie. Devil fruits have their own wills, so you're overpowering the devil fruits. Well, I could see that as the reason. Well, yeah. If Blackbird ever showed off new abilities, I'm definitely going to make more videos about If Blackbeard awakened, I think that would warrant a video or two. Yeah. I'm thinking Naruto and Sasuke, Griffith, Fred. I mean, pretty much just pick an anime protagonist or anime rival, and they would have Conqueror's Haki in their respective universes. You know, like, so Naruto and Sasuke would have Conquerors. Guts and Griffith would both have Conquerors. Like, Edward would have Conqueror's Haki. Probably Alphonse would gain it later in the story. Something like that. I answered that one without Basil already. Yep. So, yeah, we're all caught up on that. Thank you guys for the super chats. Chat. Deku and Bakugo would have it. Yeah, Roy Mustang would get it for sure. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, the series goes on long enough. Smoker's in Marijois. I don't know what he's doing right now. Smoker actually might be like, I'm on a mission. Tashigi had to stay with the kids from Punk Hazard because they're all at G14 right now. So it would make sense why Tashigi would want to stay with the kids. And Smoker's like, all right, I got to go off on... he might be back at G5, too, because that is the base he was in charge of. Like, Virgo was the vice admiral in charge of it, but he's a traitor. So that is Smoker's base now. And so maybe he's just back at G5 doing something. Somebody has to be the commanding officer there. Bon Clay is not gone forever. There's going to be a prison break at some point, and Bon Clay is going to get back in the story. Smoker's just... Actually, no, we saw Hina in the last chapter. Smoker was not in HQ. I never... Like, we've had this conversation before about Smoker and Hina. Let me pull it up. I'll pull up the cover page with them. Find out what chapter that was. Yeah, here it is. Perfectly. So, like, the vibe I've always gotten off of these two is they are co-workers, sure. They're really good friends. But I don't know. You could definitely see them as a couple. I'm not saying you can't. But I get it. I get more of a vibe as just like they join the Marines together. They're really good friends. And they're besties. They go out drinking all the time. But there's nothing like sexual between them. Like maybe they each kind of like, he's hot, yeah, she's hot kind of thing. But like they've never taken it to that level. I don't know. Yeah. But that's always been my interpretation of it. She's into him, but he doesn't care. Yeah. I could see that. I could see, well, no, because they both have that kind of personality with, like, neither of them are ever going to make the first move kind of things. Childhood friends train together. Yeah, I get more of that vibe with them. Like, this is a scene where they're like, hey, come on, let's go drink more. And then Smoker's like, no, you've had enough. Get on the fucking taxi. We're going home. Come on. Come on. You're going back home. Then I'm going back home. That's how we're doing it. All right. Yeah, come on. Yeah. Hina seems annoying to be around. I don't think so. I mean, maybe when she gets super drunk, maybe. I don't know. But, yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe they flirt with each other in, like, the kind of, like, oh, yeah, he's totally, oh, yeah, Smoker's jacked. Oh, my God, look at his abs. And, like, Hina's like, yeah, she's hot. Look at her. But it's just, like, I just never got the vibe they went beyond that. Yeah. But, hey, if you think they're banging on a nightly basis, you go with that. That's One Piece. It's fiction. Go ahead with it. Yeah. Her legs are huge. Most women in One Piece's legs are in fact very long, yes. Oda hey, that's the plot twist. Oda's not that into boobs or butts. He's really into legs. That's the thing that he's really into. Yeah. Well, yeah, in that particular panel, yes, she is wasted because they've been drinking like crazy. She wants to go to an after-hours bar, and Smoker's like, nah, you've had enough. Time to go home. I'll tell you when you have enough, you stupid idiot. I'm like, okay, yep, all right. I've seen, like, Smoker's seen this before 1,000 times. Like, this is nah. We've been down this road before. You're going home. I'll get you some Gatorade and some vitamin B, and then you're going to bed, all right? Like, shit, man, yeah. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, maybe that. Like, it might take some outside influence to get it to happen, but maybe, yeah. Teching rates One Piece couples. Not my expertise. Hina, you're drunk. Go home. Yeah. Yeah, me talking to a friend at a party. You can't sleep on the sidewalk. We got to get you back, all right? Oh, I think if they did get together, they'd be fine. Yeah, they'd be an okay couple. They might be together and just, like, they might date for a little while, and it might be like, this is a little weird. Let's just go back to just being friends. And it's like, okay, cool. And that could happen too. Yeah. Or they get married and have 3 kids and live happily ever after in a little house in the burbs with a white picket fence. I don't know. I don't know. Smoker becomes a dad and he's smoking and he's just reading the paper every morning. I don't know. Yeah, I saw some of the Northern Lights last night. So I was hanging out at a friend's place. We were playing D&D last night, and we didn't see him where we were at because it was super foggy, and we just couldn't see him. I'm driving back home, and when I'm on, like, the highway, I did see the sky going super red, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I did see it a little bit. I'm going to see if it's out tonight, too. But it's been raining all day, so probably going to be all cloudy. Probably not going to see it tonight. Wanda and Inuarashi are a power couple. See, I always shipped Wanda and Pedro as the power couple on that one. I know they weren't dating, but Wanda and Pedro, for some reason, I always, like, ship those two. Yeah, her power is the Oro Oro no Mi. It does, or the Ori Ori no Mi. It doesn't come up super often. But if anybody passes through her, like, she can, like, give you a lariat and then a giant, like, heavy iron bar appears. She has to be really good at martial arts to make it good, but I'll tell you what, like, it's all close range. Well, no, she does have some longer range stuff. She can extend bars out of her arms and, like, bars, and then just clap and they all come together. She could do that. So she could probably create, like, rings and throw them and stuff like that. It's the Oreo no Mi. Yeah. But yeah, it's she would be really good if she knew, like, close combat, like monk type fighting, and then boom, 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 and then she could, like, trap you, because, like, it's literally like she passes her arm through you, and then you have, like, a freaking 300-pound weight on your arm all of a sudden that's weighing you down. Yeah. What do you think about the events on Egghead will lead to after this arc? Will Eam retaliate against Luffy? Oh, Eam's going to retaliate in some way. The Garosei are probably going to regroup. They're going to discuss what they're going to do next, and they're probably going to try to, like, maybe form an all-out assault on Elbaf or something. I don't know, because Elbaf is where the Straw Hats are going next, so they might wait until they leave Elbaf. Oh, I got to see the new Ghibli movie. Yeah, I haven't seen that one. I haven't watched a Ghibli movie in a while. Well, I watched Spirited Away a few weeks ago, but I haven't seen the new one in a while. The Mother Flame is not charged up. I mean, the fact that it's just a small little flame, I think, doesn't mean it's not charged. Excuse me, it's not charged up. It's just like a little flame in a ball of like water. I think that is the source. Like the fact it is a tiny little flame that's able to generate and output a crazy amount of power. I think that's the whole point of it. Now, the laser gun needs to get charged up, so that's going to take some time to maybe cool down and recharge. But the Mother Flame is in the power source. See, we've been calling them both the same thing. Like the weapon that Eam used to destroy Lelucia is not called Mother Flame. It's powered by Mother Flame. It's just we didn't have a way to call it anything else up until now. But now, in the last chapter, we saw Mother Flame and what it is. So now I have to start calling that Mother Flame and like the laser. I'll just call it the laser cannon or something. The laser gun. Yeah. There was some parallel between the Mother Flame and the stuff Eneru saw on the moon. Oh, yeah. We already went over that earlier in the stream, that the mural was up there. Yeah. I don't see the Gorosei killing York outright if the other Vegapunks escape. Like, if Lilith and Edison get away, then it's like, well, we're not going to kill York because we need her. Yeah, it's probably Uranos. Yeah. The probably Uranos. The artificial Uranos. There's a new Spirited Away movie? No. I mean, like, I haven't seen the new Ghibli movie that's out. The last Ghibli movie I watched was Spirited Away, but I've seen it like 30 times. It's just that was the last one I have seen. Like 3 weeks ago I watched it. I think after this arc, a bunch of Marines will defect Sword and the new pseudo-Marines. Yeah, maybe. The way that this arc is going, I wouldn't be surprised if Eam just pulled up to Egghead. I mean, at this point, I don't know what Eam's able to do, if Eam could just teleport or warp the same way that the Gorosei can. Can't imagine why they wouldn't be able to. But if Eam shows up, dude, then, yeah, this is one of the craziest. This might be one of the best arcs in One Piece if Eam gets involved personally. Yeah. Eam messages the Gorosei, like, allow me to come. And just like, oh, shit. Like, open a gate for me. Like, oh, shit. Like, even the Gorosei are like, oh, we fucked up so bad. Even Eam's getting involved now. Damn it. What do you think of the theory that at the end of Luffy versus Katakuri fight, Katakuri could have still won, but still looked into the future and saw Luffy's gear 50 and gave up? No, he wouldn't have been able to see that. No, that's not how that would have worked. And I don't think Luffy would have necessarily gone into gear 50 at that moment. A lot of his training in Wano, I think, contributed to that. I don't think Luffy was ready to go into his awakening at that point. I don't think the requirement is just Luffy dies and automatically goes into Gear 5th. I think he has to be at a certain power level, then activate Gear 5th. And I don't think he was ready at that point. The Holy Knights are stronger than the Gorosei. In attack power, I mean, the Gorosei are basically kaiju. So they're huge. Like, that sandworm, like they're going up against Luffy right now, who's in Gear 5th, and he can kind of do a bunch of wacky nonsense and stuff, and then the giants that are just really big. But, like, you let loose any of those Gorosei, any one of them on a city, they could level that city. Like, there's not even a debate that they could do that. Like, Jupiter was using the sandworm to just suck up the entire town. So, you know, like, they could obliterate an entire town pretty easily. I'd say their destructive power is probably greater than the God's Knights. Just because of their sheer size. I have no idea how they're going to be able to beat the regeneration. That's the whole idea. Like, what's the regeneration? Where does it come from? How do you stop it? How do you beat it? How do you override it? Like, that's one of the big ones that Oda's, like, throwing at us right now. Like, Oda's pretty much doing his damnedest to show us you can throw anything at these guys. It's not going to work. You can punch them normally. It doesn't work. You could hockey and punch them up. It doesn't work. You could use Conquerors and Armament Hockey. It doesn't work. You can use Devil Fruit power abilities. It doesn't work. You could hit them really, really hard with Giants. It doesn't work. You could shoot their own attacks back at them. It doesn't work. You could take probably one of the physically strongest characters in the story, Kuma, punching them point blank. It doesn't work. All right? So That is Oda going through like the litany of Luffy in Gear 5th. Doesn't work, all right? You could go through every single litany of ability. And like, yeah, they're not going to be able to be killed by anything we've seen up until now in the story. Yep. Best monster Musume girl. Oh, God, we already know that one. We already know that one. I'm going to wait for everybody else to answer that question first, and then I'll give the real fucking answer. All right? What do you think about the idea that Joy Boy being a space pirate, it wasn't made clear that he talked his sailed? Yeah, I mean, he could be a sea pirate. I'm going along more of the lines, though, that, like, sea rebel, first devil fruit user, because I really like that, the connection with the kanji that we went over earlier. Yeah. All right, let's see who we got here. Let's see. I got to put on my glasses for this one. Let's see. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah. Okay, here. Let's see what we got here. We got Monaka, no. Zombina, no. Mermaid Girl, no. Centauria is a smart pick, but not quite there yet. Mia, no. No one has suggested it yet. Racnera, there you go. Smile, you did it. Good job. You're the only one with culture in this chat. Spider Girl, there you go. Hope you're having a great day. As a fellow Frankie fan, do you think he should have bigger moments this arc? He's a busy arc, so I'm not sure. I mean, like, honestly, I think that's what it comes down to. There's just so much shit in this arc. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much stuff going on here, and you can tell Oda is not going to make this a long arc like Wano. This is not a freaking 150 chapter extravaganza like Wano was. You know, he's not trying to do that. He's compressing it a lot more. And if you take away the moments in Egghead that don't take place on Egghead, like we cut away back to, Hachinosu or Wiener Island with Law and Blackbeard, if you cut all that stuff out of the arc, then there's even less time on Egghead, right? And then the flashback, that's not on Egghead, so you can remove that as well. So Oda's like, yeah, I got to get a bunch of stuff done in a relatively short amount of time, because we got to get to Elbaf. And maybe he's just like, yeah, I wanted to focus on Frankie a little bit, but that just kind of fell by the wayside, yeah. You know, people are upset about the amount of time that Zoro even had in Wano. Like, Zoro should have had maybe more time in Wano and more focus. And he did get some, but people think it should have been way more. Like, Zoro should have been the main character of Wano, basically. The Mother Flame, I don't think it's a piece of the sun. It might be Vegapunk creating nuclear fusion, which is the power. It's what the sun does. But it's not like, so I guess in a sense you could say it's a piece of the sun. But if like humans, by the way, people actually, told me like we actually have figured out nuclear fusion. It's just really hard to maintain. People like have created nuclear fusion a few times, but it doesn't last very long and it's not viable for an energy source. But if we were able to figure it out completely and have permanent like nuclear fusion, then our energy woes would be all out of the window, right? So that's what Vegapunk managed to do, though. You know that the planet Uranus is the only Greek planet. Yeah, because like Jupiter is Roman, Mars is Roman, but that's the way that Oda went with it, naming it after the planets that currently exist now. So that's what we're doing. It was actually originally suggested that because Uranus was the first planet discovered after the Romans and Greeks looked, because the Romans, you can only see, because they didn't have telescopes back then. You can only see with your naked eye. You could see that there were planets that were like, okay, these stars are fixed. These lights in the sky are fixed. These other lights in the sky move at a predictable path that you can, it's that time of year it's there. That time of year it's there. So you got Mercury, you got Venus, you got Mars, you got Jupiter, and you got Saturn. And those are the ones you could see with the naked eye. I think in Latin, planet literally just means wanderer. Okay, wandering across the sky. They couldn't see Uranus, they couldn't see Neptune, they couldn't see Pluto. They were too far away. So that didn't come about until telescopes were invented, and then people could look further, and then you see Uranus, and it's like, well, let's continue the scheme that the Romans and the Greeks were naming them after gods. So that's why Uranus is Uranus, although it is Greek, and that's why Neptune is the Roman god, Poseidon. The Greek equivalent is Poseidon, and then Pluto is, Hades. So that's what happened there. It's an everlasting flame generating power in a tank of water that's basically fantasy nuclear. It's a fantasy nuclear fusion. Yeah, it's what it is, yeah. Oh, I can't wait for the Norse mythology in Elbaf. It's going to be good. Kuma's punch did phase Saturn. I mean, it hit him. it destroyed part of his body. It physically, like kinetically, like kinetic energy knocked him away. But then he got back up and regenerated like it was nothing. And then he was perfectly fine. So it didn't even come close to killing him. That's not a way you can do it. I mean, you can hit them hard enough for them to fly away just because that's how physics work. But it's not going to actually do anything to them. Usopp gets Mjolnir. I want Usopp to get Mjolnir or Gungnir or some kind of crazy magical tchotchke from Elbaf. Absolutely. Atlas in a Viking outfit. That would be pretty cool. Atlas, Viking Atlas. I took a nap and woke up and you're still streaming. Well, that's legend. I don't know if I'm a legend. I've only been streaming for an hour and 15 minutes. So you took a pretty brief nap, I would say, if anything. I know people like Briggs that could stream for like a day or two straight. So, well, not straight. He does sleep, but like, yeah, I've only been streaming for an hour and 15 minutes, man. D&D's longer than this. That's a short nap. Yeah. That's a nice little nap. I think it's like, there is a thing that is said that you're supposed to take a nap, like, I think no longer than 30, because you don't want your body to go too far into like the sleep cycle when you're taking a nap like midday. Because I do realize, like, if I'm tired midday and if I take a nap at, like, 2 and I wake up at 5, oh, God, my whole body is knocked the fuck out of whack for, like, the rest of the night. You know, I feel so weird after that, you know? So I think, like, 20 minutes to 30 is, like, the optimal time for a light nap. Okay, you don't want to be sleeping any longer than that. Yeah, you don't want a deep sleep, you know, in the afternoon. So, yeah. Whenever I am super tired, like this, what'll usually happen is I'll wake up really early for something, like if I have to go on a trip or like there's some appointment that's like, you know, you have to wake up at like 7 to drive over to this thing. I'd be like, I have to wake up at like 5 and get dressed and then drive over to this thing. And I'll get back around like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll be like, okay, I got to take a nap. And then I'll try to take a nap for only like 30, 40 minutes. And then that'll be it. Life feels like a lucid dream after a 2-hour nap. Oh, it does feel. I feel like just like my whole body just feels like heavy and just, you know, like I can't really function. And then if I go take a nap at like 2 and I wake up at 5, and then I have to go to bed at like 11, it's so weird. I do not recommend it. Whoa, 100 doll hairs. I was really hoping that Vegapunk would have Megazords. I mean, they kind of did, but Kizaru destroyed it. Maybe Vegaforce 1 could separate into other creatures. I mean, other Zords. We just didn't see it. They had multiple satellites and it's Frankie's engineering idol. Yeah, I mean, maybe we will get a Megazord at some point. I mean, we already have a Megazord. That's what the Frankie Shogun is, basically. We can add to the Frankie Shogun. We can add extra stuff to it. $100. Thank you, CI23422. Vega Force 2. Still hitting the gym. I went yesterday. I will now attempt to flex. There you go. Well, you can see a difference. You can see a difference. Pirate docking with the satellites. I haven't started the IRL with Zach and Casey yet. That hasn't started yet. But how am I juggling 4 D&Ds? I'm doing all right. 3 I'm playing, and 3 I'm playing, and 1 I'm DMing. Easy there. I know, right? I'm like Thor. If I flex too hard, the world's gonna shake. Megapunk. What classes am I playing? So, 2 of them you guys know about. Isekai, I'm playing Tony, or Anthony, Tony was a paladin, Anthony's an artificer, but he can also transform into a bunch of other shit, so there's the thing. In One Piece D&D, I played William, who was a rogue. Now I'm playing Kai, who's a ranger. And in the campaign, I'm playing Eberron campaign, one of my friend's campaigns, I'm playing a cleric, a nature cleric named Corbin. And then in Briggs's campaign, I'm playing Axros, who's a tiefling warlock. Yeah, I saw a lot of theories about. I even mentioned it in the review that the Den Den Mushi is inside of the giant robot. That would be a good place to put it. It's into the Tonyverse. Yeah. the soul, mind, and body. I mean, that's fine. Like, that's something that's not really been focused on in One Piece. Like, in Full Metal Alchemist, it gets brought up a lot, like mind, body, and soul. That's not something that, like, is brought up a lot in One Piece, like mind, body, and soul, mind, body, and soul. But, I mean, sure, if you want to interpret it that way, I think it works fine. But, you know, it's not something that, like, Oda set up for, like, you know, oh, mind, body, and soul. It's been mentioned multiple times in the story. It's like, yeah, that's not a thing. What devil fruit would Kai fear the most? A devil fruit, probably green bowls, because green bowls would create trees, which would therefore create fruit. So it's the perpetual fruit. It's the worst one. It creates more fruits. Hello from Saudi Arabia. I love the energy in your videos. Thank you, Rian. I don't have that much energy right now, but when I do, I need to start doing my reviews at night, because when I did the review at night, that was like, I'm definitely way more. Whenever I'm doing reviews, you're only seeing me at like half power. That's half power teching when I do reviews, because I have to wake up and do the review, and I'm like tired. I'm not a morning person by any stretch of the imagination. I'm like a reverse Escanor. My power increases as it gets later into the day. Yeah, the only way Kai is probably going to eat a devil fruit is if he's forced to eat a devil fruit, which might happen. I mean, you know. Do you think Luffy will ever go crazy with the Toon Force, like grabbing the sun or touching and reacting with the manga panels? We haven't seen him do that yet. We haven't seen, like, Luffy create an onomatopoeia, grab the onomatopoeia, and, like, shove it down someone's throat or something like that. Like, that would be kind of interesting. Maybe there is a border that Oda doesn't want to cross, though. Like, maybe he doesn't want to get too fourth wall breaky with it, you know? I'd be okay either way. If Kai gets a devil fruit, if he doesn't, I'll play it either way. That's up to Rustage. Luffy with Hamon. Dude, the campaign that I run last night was insane. Because I'm basically having my party go up against, like, a strong, like, military imperial force. They have, like, airships and shit like that. And I was really honestly expecting them to just get into a fight with the military and just, like, kill, like, the major who was, like, the guy that was, like, the commanding officer. And they were really genuinely trying to, like, get the guy to see that the Empire is corrupt and shit, and, like, he shouldn't be doing it. He should, like, you know, stand down. And it was a really interesting series of events that led to that actually happening. But it wasn't as simple as just, like, you know, oh, you guys are traitors to the Empire, I'm going to kill you all. It's like persuasion. No, you don't. Oh, okay, then. No, it was it was multiple persuasion checks, multiple good role-playing, and a lot of other random shit that I didn't expect, but actually set up perfectly well, and it was so great. It was a great session. True. I don't think Oda would break the manga that way. Yeah, I think there's, like, a level where even he doesn't want to, like Luffy picks up like, Luffy's in the middle panel, and he picks up the panel above him and hits, like, you know, like one of the Gorosei with it. Like, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. We get enough of the fourth wall breaky just from, like, his scars and stuff falling off of him, and he's, like, putting them back on, like, stickers and everything. I personally find DMing more fun, but that's me. I think I'm more of a DM. Anchor legs. Yep. There's a character in My Hero Academia that literally his quirk is manipulating comic panels and onomatopoeias and stuff. So, like, yeah, I could kind of see it more there. But doing stuff like that starts to blend it into, like, do I want to make this a gag manga or not? You know what I mean? Like, do I want to make it a gag manga straight up, or do I still want to have a level of kind of, like, seriousness with this? Where is the One Piece? Florida. It's in Florida. It's in Tallahassee, Florida. That's where it is. Ain't the dude's name literally manga? It's manga Fukadoshi or something like that. Or Fukadoshi manga. Which, I mean, if you give birth to a kid that has a manga bubble for a head, like a speech bubble for a head, like what else do you call him? You know what I mean? You call him manga, like what else? Like, right? Yeah. Florida man will find the One Piece. Florida man, a homeless man out to journey into the world and find the... There's probably a homeless man in Florida right now that is trying to find the One Piece, honestly. Yep. Oh, dude, I just thought of... Okay, so the other day, you ever, like, see something in a store that reminds you, like, uncorks a memory, and then that leads to another memory, and then that leads to another memory? Holy shit. All right, this is probably going to be a hot take. This might be my hottest take ever, but I'm going to say it, okay? Get ready for it. I mean, this is one that, like, oh shit, teching. Holy fuck. What are you saying? Are you serious? People might really hate this one. I don't know what to say. I was in a store a little while ago with my mom. We were grocery shopping. It was just a Walmart, you know. We were just in a Walmart shopping. And we walk by, we're in the cold section, and there's a whole display of Lunchables. And, you know, Lunchables, little prepackaged things, you know, you put them in, like, kids' lunches and stuff. And my mom looks at that, and she's like, oh, Lunchables. I remember when I always used to give you those. And I'm just like, yeah, they sucked. They're the worst thing that ever existed, and I am serious about this. I despise Lunchables. They are the worst fucking food that you could give to a child, short of poison, all right? I hated Lunchables when I was a kid. Everybody loved them. Everybody talked like, oh my God, the Lunchable pizza. The Lunchable pizzas are disgusting, and no human being should be made to eat them ever. All right? The only thing is like, yo, there's an Oreo in there. It's like, yeah, well, that's because an Oreo is an Oreo. All right? An Oreo is not like part of like Lunchable. An Oreo is just a separate thing they put in there. Oreos are fine. All right? I liked the nachos. I never had the nachos, to be fair. But all of the ones that involve those slimy, gooey, fucking disgusting pieces of pseudo bologna and the shitty crackers and the shitty cheese, and you make a sandwich. Here's a shitty fucking piece of cracker dough or something. You just put some tomato sauce on there and you have a pizza. No, you don't. I even went into a thing with my mom where I'm just like, I remember every field trip. I remember a field trip where we went to like a park, like a natural park or like a national park or something. And you gave me a pizza Lunchable, and I sat at a table and ate this Lunchable, and it was the saddest meal I've ever had, like up till that point. Like that was the shittiest pizza. Like, it was awful. And I remembered a few years ago, this is like maybe like 10, 15 years ago or whatever, we were in New York, and I remember seeing a homeless guy in New York eating a Lunchable, and I'm just like, that is the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life. A literal homeless man, looks like he hasn't showered in weeks, grungy beard and shit, eating a Lunchable. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God, that is the saddest human being I've ever seen. That is sadness. That is sadness personified. That is pity personified in that image right there. Damn, you are passionate about this. It's just a thing where I hated them when I was a kid, never really said anything. Then I got older and I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm just not going to eat Lunchables anymore. And then I forgot about it for 20 years. And then my mom just brought it up. They're like, oh, Lunchables. I remember I used to put those in your lunch all the time. And just, fuck! Damn you, Lunchables. And then I trashed the Walmart Lunchable display. Lunchables have lead in them. I wouldn't be surprised if they're bad for you, yeah. She didn't always give me Lunchables. I mean, like, Lunchables would be like when I go on a field trip. I remember when I went on field trips, she would always pack a lunch with fucking Lunchables in them. I remember that every time I would go on a field trip. That's what I would get. I didn't bring my lunch very often to school, but whenever I did, my mom would just make me a sandwich or something and put it in there, like a grilled cheese sandwich or something. Wasn't too bad. Ham sandwich. Yeah, PB&J, grilled cheese. I get stuff like that. I didn't really pack my lunch that much at school, though. I usually just ate lunch there, which led to a few stomach viruses a couple of times. Cafeteria food. I mean, some of it was good. Some of it was not. There was a food item we had on the menu that I dreaded seeing every time. So when we got to high school, there was like 3 lunch lines we could go through. So there was a main lunch line, and then there was like a leftover line from the previous days. So like if we had steakums one day and the next day we had chicken, you could either get chicken or steakums, and maybe they would have pizza in the third one or something. So you had options when you got to high school, at least a couple of different options. But when you were in elementary school or middle school, you didn't have options. It's whatever's on the menu for that day is what they're serving. It's either that or you bring a lunch. It's one of the two. And the worst food that they served by far was a food item called turkey and a biscuit. It was spelled like turkey and then N apostrophe biscuit. Turkey and a biscuit. Turkey and a biscuit. Let me see if I could find an image of it, because it's all just prepackaged shit that a company made and sent out to schools. School cafeteria food. If I could find a legitimate image of what this shit looked like and show it to you, you're gonna think it looks like dog food. I'm not even exaggerating. It looks like actual fucking dog food. All right, school cafeteria food, turkey and biscuit. I swear to God. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Oh, wait. No, that looks too edible. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. It was bad. It was very, very, very bad. I'm not seeing any. There's a picture of a Lunchable. There's a picture of a Lunchable. Yeah, occasionally Lunchables like this one has a Reese cup in it. It's like, well, yeah, but the Reese cup's not going to save this. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, man, there's no images of this. Dude, I wish I would have taken out my phone. If I knew I was going to be making this stream in the year 2024, back when I was in high school, I would have taken out my phone and I would have taken a picture of this abomination. And I would have saved it. And I would have shown you the shit that they fed us. Okay, this is... No, that's not even right. That's not even close to it. Okay, this is kind of what it was like, but not exactly. This is the closest thing. Look at this shit. Now, the shape of the turkey, they got that right, because the turkey was always in this weird, unnatural cube shape. And by the way, we fed our dog Duchess like old Roy dog food, and I swear to God, and pedigree, and I swear to God, some of the dog food looked like this. I remember giving Duchess dog food one day and looking at it and thinking, wow, this looks exactly like the shit they served us in school. Now, the only difference is, you see that biscuit on the side? That biscuit, you see how they're kept separate here? That's not how they served it to us. They took this dry as fuck, like, block of bread, and they would pour the gravy, they'd pour that crap on the left on that biscuit on the right, and it would just be in that one center part, and they would serve it to us like that. So it was a dry block of bread slathered in gravy with shitty mashed potatoes and crappy cube turkey on top of it. That's what they served us. Yeah, my dog food's better than this. You know, honestly, dude, if someone held a gun to my head and told me you got to eat that turkey and a biscuit from high school or you got to eat this pedigree dog food, I'd be like, I'd have to think about that for honestly, like a good, like, you're going to have to give me a minute here. You have to shoot me or you have to give me a minute here. Because this is not an easy pick. You know? Yeah. Oh, God, that was the worst thing we had. Worst thing, bar none. I always would pack a lunch that day, and when I got to high school, I would always the saving grace was they gave you the lunch schedule a month in advance, so you knew exactly what days were what. So it's like, okay, I know next Wednesday we're having turkey and a biscuit. I'm packing a lunch that day. I'm not dealing with that. But I got yelled at one fucking day. There was a teacher. He was a substitute teacher. He wasn't even a real teacher. He was there one day, and he was like a lunchroom monitor, and I got my food, and I just took one bite of it, and I was like, I'm not eating this. I refuse to eat this. I'll just not eat, and I'll just wait. I mean, I had like, maybe I'll have my side or I'll drink some milk, but I'm not eating this shit. I'll wait until I get home and have dinner. And I got yelled at by a teacher. The teacher literally yelled at me and said, you need to eat your food. Why aren't you eating your food? Eat your food. I'm like, I'm not eating this. You can't make me. And I just threw it away. You can't make me eat. I don't care. Call my parents. Do whatever the fuck you want. I'm not eating this shit. Substitute, not real teachers. I'm sorry to all the substitute teachers out there. You're real teachers. I didn't mean you're a real teacher as in a teacher that's employed by the school every day to teach. You're a substitute, right? Yeah. Is America okay? That was just got here. Pedigree teching. That's base. Turkey and a biscuit. Screw subs. Oh, they ain't teachers for real. Sorry, teachers. Okay. There's a lot of substitute teachers we've had throughout the years. Some of them sucked really bad. Some of them were really caring for the students. Okay. Some of them definitely treated it as this is just a job. I don't care. I'm just here to fill in and that's it. Others were really cool. We had some subs that were kind of like Jack Black in School of Rock. Honestly, kind of like that. They were pretty chill. There was one substitute. I know we're done with One Piece. I mean, the One Piece discussion I usually try to keep within the first hour, and then the rest is just bullshitting. So we could just keep bullshitting here. There was one time that a substitute teacher. I was not in the class that did it, but one of the classes made her cry and leave. I've told this story before too. So we were in high school. I think I was a senior or a junior, and this substitute was she was a perfectly fine substitute. Like, we literally walked in because the teacher that she was replacing got sick at the last minute. Like, it was last minute. So it was like, shit, we need a substitute. And it was one of the elementary school teachers, I guess, was available that day. So they're like, do you want to do it? And she's like, fine. But it was like last minute. So she had nothing planned. So she came in, and it was literally just study hall. It was just study hall. It was like we walked in and she was there. She normally teaches like kindergarten or whatever. But she's like, yeah, guys, just, it's study hall. Don't worry about anything. You can talk. Just don't be loud. You could sleep or you can work on other stuff. I don't care. She even gave us permission to listen to the music on our phones, which was a big no-no. No other teacher in the school ever did that in high school. Was like, you're allowed to take out your phones and listen to music. Like seriously. A teacher telling you that you're allowed to use your phone is like the exact opposite of every other teacher. So I'm like, oh, cool. I can listen to my music. So I took out my phone and I put my head down and I listened to my music. I had her fourth period. And so fourth period, I just did that and just got my head down and listened to my music. I'm like, cool, this was fine. Great substitute teacher. There are people talking, whatever, not a big deal. Later on in the day, I think it was around 7th or 8th period, there was a class that she had that just were relentless to this woman. They just kept picking her apart like they were roasting her on live television or something. Like, it was like, so are you married? No, I'm not married. Why are you not married? Does no one like you? Can't you find a boyfriend? Huh? What happened to all your relations? Like, just grilling this woman. And eventually she just broke down and started crying and she ran out. She just ran out of the room. And I felt so fucking bad. And the students were like, yeah, we did it. Now I wasn't there for it. So this is just stuff I'm hearing after the fact. But she did cry and she did leave. I know that happened, but I just don't know what happened, leading up to it. But just literally just finding weakness in her and just picking her apart. Like, how old are you? Oh, 26 and 26 and you're not even engaged. Wow. Huh. You think you're ever going to get married? You think anyone's ever going to love you? It was that type of shit, man. To get somebody to the point where they're going to break down crying and then run out of their job, you got to be fucking relentless, And yeah, and she's normally teaching like kindergartners and stuff. These are like high school students doing this shit. Yeah. Yeah. That's awful. And she was such a nice lady. Yeah, that's regular in school. That wasn't regular in school. I mean, that was a rare event that happened where I was at. 8 periods that were crazy. No, we had 9. We had 9. 9 periods in high school. Teaching is hard, man. A lot of pressure in that job. Oh, God, yeah. I could never do it. Kids are too annoying. Like, little kids I would find really annoying. And then older kids, I would always just think, if I was ever asked to be like a high school teacher or something, I would always just think of that story. And like, oh, God, no. Like, look at me. I'd walk in to teach history class. Hey, we need a substitute teacher to teach history. I'd be like, all right, I'm on it. I walk in. Hello, class. Today we're going to learn about the Roman Empire. Just be like, they'd look at me and just be like, how old are you? I'm like, 31. Fucking weirdo. And they would just be picking me apart. I'm not doing that crap. I'm not entering that bullshit. Yeah. You'd be an amazing geography teacher. If people listened, I would guess I would be an okay teacher, yeah. Teching teaches geography. Each class is 45 minutes. So I only remember this because I was the timekeeper when I was in school. I don't know if other high schools had this, but what I would do, I had a very important job when I was in high school. All right, I had a watch, and at the beginning of every year, they released like the student handbook, and on the back of the handbook was the times that each period started and ended, like when the bell would ring. So I remember the school day would begin at 7:37 a.m. So I would literally be in the hallway waiting for the school bell, the first bell to start, and I'd have my digital watch, and I'd have it at 7:37, and then as soon as the bell rang, I would sync it so that my watch was exactly on the schedule, and I would memorize all of the day, all the times, and then all throughout the day, everybody would ask me constantly, Matt, how long we got left in this class? How long we got? Crawford, how long we got left? And I'd be like, 5 minutes, 27 seconds. And they'd be like, cool. Or it'd be like, Matt, like we'd be in class, and then the teacher would be doing a lecture, and then the teacher would be like, okay, we can do a quick worksheet here. And then it'd be like, oh, man, Matt, how long do we have left in the class? And I'd be like, we got another 22 minutes, man. He's like, shit. And the teachers didn't even, some of them didn't even know the schedule. They didn't even know it. So they would ask me. So sometimes the teacher would be doing a lecture for most of the class, and they'd be like, oh, do we have time for a quick quiz? Matt, how long do we got left? And I was like, we only got like 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And just like, all right, there's no point in it. Not a big deal. We'll just end class right there. Yeah. So that was my job. I'm even in the yearbook. The first page of my senior yearbook is me looking at a clock. Like that's literally, I'm on the first page because of that. So what a jock. It was, oh yeah, super professional. Yeah. What would happen when you weren't there? I guess nobody knew what time it was. Because did you not have clocks? They had clocks in the rooms, but they were analog. They were the analog clocks, so they weren't digital, so you didn't know exactly like the second it was. And that's the thing, though. I had it down to the fucking second. And so my favorite time of the day was when it was the end of the day, whatever last class I had, and they would be like, okay, Matt, how long until the end of the school day? And I'd be like, 42 seconds. And then I could literally count it down to be like 3, 2, 1, dude. Every day. That was what my job was. Yeah. I never got paid for it, no. My other job was I was the gum dealer. I would always have a pack of 5 gum or not 5 gum. It was 5 gum, but it was also Stride gum with the big S on it. Dude, 5 gum was great. I watched a video on 5 gum's marketing strategy back in the late 2000s. 5 gum, like back in the day, man, that was some epic edgy gum, Stride gum. Let's see here. Yeah, this shit right here. Yep. That was my other job, is I always had multiple packs of gum in my backpack. So we'd go to Walmart, like every week, me and my dad would go to Walmart, and I'd pick up a bunch of, I remember I used this one a lot. I had 3. I had 3 on me at all times. I had spearmint, I had the fruit one, and I had the wintergreen one. And I would have these 3 types of gum in my backpack at all times throughout the week. And anytime somebody asked me for gum, I'd be like, all right, what do you want, man? I got Forever Fruit. I got Wintergreen. I got 5 Cobalt. I got a special flavor, man, just for you. It's a little bit it's a little bit epic. It's a little bit spicy. I don't know if you can handle the cinnamon, but I got some of that shit too, man. Well, give it to me. Give me the fucking gum, man. And just like, yeah. And then we had 5 gum, which was great. Original flavors. Yeah. These. Yeah. Cobalt, Rain, Swerve, Flare, Prism, Yep. I mean, I guess the moral of the story is, and you know what? I didn't get picked on that much in high school. I got picked on way more in elementary school than I did in high school. I guess that's the trick. You got to find a niche. You got to find, it's like in prison. When you're in prison, you got to find a job. It's like, hey, you're not allowed to stay in this cell block. You need a job. What can you do, man? And it's like, okay, I can sell. I got gum and I know what time it is. It's like, all right, there you go. Oh, dude. I was thinking about how Joy Boy could be the first pirate. Maybe the planet was a desert planet like Alabasta. Oh, we're like Dune, like sand pirates. How it feels to chew 5 gum. Yeah. We all had the gum guy. I was the gum guy, and I was also the time guy. I was the timekeeper. Yep. And I hope that continues. I hope there's somebody in high school right now that's also the timekeeper. I am the Time Lord. Yes, I can go through some super chats. I think I'm going to be ending it here, yeah. Pretty soon. I was the pen guy. Oh, you had pens. Okay, that's another important thing to have because you'd always run out of pencils and pens in high school. Can Usopp now win against Arlong? I think Usopp could win against Arlong. I'm going to make a video about Joy Boy, absolutely. From what we learned in the last chapter, that'll be on the docket. I'm also going to make one about the Tenryubito not knowing about the Void Century. But yeah, we'll cover a lot of the stuff we covered in this stream there. Do you think Luffy will ever go crazy with the Toon Force, like grabbing the sun? Oh, I answered that one already. Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to get to that absurdity. Oda keeps it in a nice little area where it's not too absurd, but it's really fun. The fake story of you fighting that girl's BF in Target was crazy. All right, it wasn't Target, it was Dollar Tree. So this is how stories evolve. That was a bullshit story. That never happened, all right? I still get messages, comments on that video to this day that are like, and that's why I took down, because there's been other crazy stories I told on the vlog channel, and I took those down, and people are like, why? It's because, like, people are genuinely thinking there's one where I told a story where I stole a car and like joyrided around town. And I'm like, I know that if I kept that up there, people would be like, you actually stole a car? You're a fucking criminal. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't steal it was bullshit, guys. Yeah. So that was the thing. People take things way too seriously on the internet. Yeah. It's very hard to be sarcastic on the internet. Maybe if I ever start my stand-up career though, maybe I'll bring some of those stories back. The Gorosei being a giant worm like in Dune is more evidence it was a desert planet. Maybe. Yeah, the woods story where I discover like a cult, like a blood cult out in the middle of the woods. That's a fun one. Yeah. Tekking Landu, the liar. It's because people actually do that stuff, yeah. Except I'm a very meek individual. Who knows? Maybe when we all go to London, the One Piece D&D crew is just hot rodding around London, guys. Who knows? We steal a train. I don't know. We steal a double-decker bus and are just driving through London. Spooky's at the wheel, and I'm throwing fish and chips out the window. Oh, man. Jump the London Tube. Can we get links for those videos? I think I deleted most of them, honestly. I don't think they exist anymore. I thought you already went to London. No, I'm going in less than 2 weeks. The 21st, I'm leaving. Oh, but I do have something for you guys that's... I was thinking about what to put up while I was gone. to have stuff on the channel. I actually got something very interesting. I think I'll end the video at this, probably the stream here. So, oh man, I'm trying to think of the good, like the timeline of this. Okay, so way back in like 2016, there was a website called Viewster. All right. James Hansen told me about it, and it's like, it's a website, it's like YouTube, but you know, you make content on there, it's a better website and stuff like that. So he's like, do you want to be part of this website? It's like just starting up, and I'm like, you want to make video content for them? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I was contracted under them to make like 12 videos, and then I did that, and then a few people watched them, not a lot, but a few people did, and then I was contracted again for like another 12, like back in like 2018, okay? And then after that, I completely forgot about that website and didn't even think about it for years. And then like a couple years ago, I got an email, like back in like 2022, I got an email that was like some random guy I'd never even heard of from a company I'd never heard of. And he says, hey, I don't know. I don't know what name. We're Red and Blue Acquisitions or something, right? We have acquired, like Viewster went under. It didn't take off, clearly. Viewster went under. This other company bought it. They owned all of the contracts and videos, because when I signed a contract with them, I made videos for them. I wasn't allowed to upload them anywhere else for like a certain period of time, like 4 years or something like that. So the last time I made videos for them was like in 2018. And so in 2022, I'm getting this email from this guy, and he's just like, hey, my name is Abdul, and I am a member of this acquisition company, and I found your contract, and I found your videos. Like, do you want me to release this to you? And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, I guess. I remember those videos. So they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. So we did a thing, and it's like, so I own the videos now, and I have them on a hard drive. So these are old videos that I filmed back when I was still at my mom's place, back in the old room, that I don't think exist on the internet anymore, because Viewster went under, and I don't think, like, hold on a second here. Yeah, I don't think Viewster is a website anymore. Viewster.com. It's streams something strange. It's called Midnight Pulp. It redirects to a streaming site called Midnight Pulp now. I have no idea. I've never heard of this streaming site. So, you know, Viewster got purchased by that. That's where their URL leads. So, I have a couple of videos about that, and they're interesting because they're not, some of them are One Piece based, but not all of them are One Piece based. Some of them are about me talking. I know there's one where I talk about Samurai Jack. There's another one where I talk about JoJo. There's one where I talk about Fooly Cooly. There's one where I talk about Attack on Titan. I'd have to look through exactly which ones, but I was thinking about putting those up as like the Teching 101 Lost Files or something. Yeah. And I think I was thinking about putting that up for like uploading a few of those while I was away in London as kind of like a throwback to like the old days. If you guys missed the old room, now back in the day, I made videos like, hey guys, I have a video up on Viewster, so go check it out down below. But those are dead links now. You can't watch them anymore. And I don't think it exists anywhere else except on my hard drives that I have the raw files for. So yeah. The Teching Void Century content. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'll upload that stuff while I'm away in London, and I'll be making videos in London too. Like I'm gonna stream with Briggs and stuff. I have a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards we're gonna open, so I'm gonna see if me and Briggs and Spooky and maybe Rustage, we can all get together and do some Yu-Gi-Oh, and we can stream that or something. We'll figure something out. Yeah, depends how good the Wi-Fi is in our hotels and stuff. And yeah, I'm gonna bring my equipment and everything. Spooky will bring his stuff. Briggs will bring his stuff. You know, we'll all have our shit. Yeah. Probably super nostalgic. Some of them are from, I think, 2017, and I think the last ones were from 2018. The last batch was from 2018. So it was probably good 6-7 years ago now. Yep. Nostalgic teching vids, so look forward to that. Yeah, I want to see Magellan and Dofi. I just want to see a side story with those guys just hanging out. They're a buddy cop routine. I want to see a buddy cop with Magellan and Doflamingo. Yep. But anyway, that's about almost 2 hours, actually. So I will go through the Super Chats one more time. Thanks to CI23422 for the $100, and thanks to Young Smoky VP17 for the $50 super chat. Oh yeah, the pedigree teching that's based. Yeah, the turkey ones. Oh yeah, that was awful food. That was awful food. And I'm glad. No, go away. I don't want to. There we go. Do you think the Marines will save Garp? I mean, Garp might die, guys. Let's just not throw out that possibility. He might die. Can we get links for those videos set as private? Like I said, I think I think the Code Red stuff, that's all deleted. I don't think that even exists anymore. Can Usopp right now win against Arlong? I answered that one. Garosei being a worm-like creature. Okay, I answered these. Yeah, I got those. All right. So yeah, sorry about that. Those might just be lost forever. That's the thing with YouTube, man. I've lost a lot of videos throughout the years, and I've tried to dig out like old hard drives and look them up, and I'm just like, yeah, they're not around anymore. Yeah. How would Luffy react? He'd be probably pretty mad that his grandpa died, and pretty sad. Glad I can make it to a stream so far. My obligatory question would be, Gear 5th mess with Yuha Baha's Almighty. Toon Force versus the Almighty. I would say Yuha would walk out really serious, like, I can already see all the possibilities of the future in front of me. And then he would see all the wacky things Luffy does, and he would just be like, he knows what's going to happen, but he would just be flabbergasted at what he is seeing and be like, and then Luffy would hit him. Yeah. It's also, it's Mother's Day tomorrow, too. Yeah, me and my mom are going to go out to eat. And then tomorrow night, I'm actually going to go over to a neighbor's place, and we're going to play a card game called Dominion. I've never played it before, but apparently it's really fun. I looked into it online, and it seems like a really fun card game. So yeah, that's what I'm doing tomorrow. So I was thinking about doing, I usually do the stream when the chapter comes out, like officially, but because I'm busy tomorrow with that, decided to do it today. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Dude, my mom, the other day, yesterday, I did not get to bed because I did the review Thursday night. I was up till 2 a.m. working on the review, and then like I was up for a little bit after that, and I eventually went to bed around 2:30. So I'm asleep. It's like 9:30 a.m. I'm asleep. My mom calls me, and I like answer the phone, and I'm like super tired. And I'm like, oh yeah, hey mom, what's up? She's like, I'm going to the hospital. I fell, and I'm like, what? What are you? Huh? Like, are you okay? Like, what? She's like, yeah, I fell in the basement and I hit the toilet. And I'm like, are you on an ambulance? I'm like, oh no, I'm driving. I'm like, okay. Did you, like, you don't have a concussion, do you? Like, oh no, I just kind of hit my nose, but it's bruised. I'm like, okay. And it's just like, but that's how she opens the call. Like, I'm going to the hospital, I hit my head. I'm like, what the fuck, huh? She's fine. She's okay. She doesn't have a broken nose. She doesn't have a concussion. She doesn't have, because I'm like, she could have landed on that toilet and like cracked her neck or something. I'm like, you're good. But like, dude, like that's literally how I wake up. Like, it's like, huh? I'm going to the hospital. What? Like, I'm so tired. I can't even process it correctly. And then she sent a picture of herself to me. Like, do you see the bruise? And I can't even see the bruise on her nose. Like, it's not even like, I'm like, I can't even see it. And she like circled it and sent it to me again. Like, it's right there. You can't see my nose is bruised. I'm like, Mom, it really looks fine. Like, I really can't even see the bruise. So yeah. Yeah. Just a little heart attack at 9:30 a.m. as I'm like sleeping. That's the second time she's done that in like 6 months, you know? Yeah. She wakes me up with like, I'm going to the hospital. I'm like, oh God, what? But she's fine. She's good. She's all right. She's just, yeah, she just fell a bit. She tripped in the basement and she hit her nose, but it's not broken or anything. She's fine. Just a little bruised up. Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's a 1,000 Way Episode to Die on that. Yeah. 1,000 Ways to Die was a weird episode. It was a weird show. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. That will be the video. It's about 2 hours exactly, so I'm going to end it here. Happy Mother's Day, and everybody. Say hi to Big Mom for everybody for me. Hope Big Mom is still alive. She comes back for Mother's Day. There you go. This would have been the chapter for her to come back in, but she's not. We do see Smoothie, though. We see Smoothie and Montour. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. This will be Teching, signing out. Later, everybody. Bye.